Always an
And
awkward silence.
there we go. We're live.
Okay, good. There it is.
So how's everything been going, man?
Going pretty good. Just been pretty busy with work. This is we're coming into May, and that's a big sweeps month, which means heavy advertising, big tantalizing stories and stuff. And my coworker slash art director slash only other employee in the department is recovering from some major surgery, so I'm all by myself.
Oh no.
So it's been, along with everything else that's happened in the last couple of weeks, it's been pretty rough. So,
Man. Yeah, I know you've had a lot of stuff going on, and my condolences, by the way.
thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Yeah,
But,
it's been rough. So, but I've got everybody around me. My wife's been super supportive, and my sister is, going through the same thing I'm going through. So again, my wife has been there for her too. So she's been really awesome through all this. And work has offered to let me go home, but then there's no one there. So,
But a lot of times it helps to just kind of work to work your way through it, so to speak.
well, yeah, that, and if I sat at home, I would probably dwell even more, and I don't want to do that. So,
Right.
but yeah, day by day, as we say.
Yeah.
Day by day. But yeah, everything else has been going good. I just posted up that video for the Profi box, that Filament One subscription box.
Yeah.
That thing is, I tell you, I'm not going to plug my own channel here, but that for 44.
Go ahead, plug it. Come on, do it. Do all the plugs.
For $44 a month, you can't go wrong for 2 full rolls of filament delivered to your door every month, plus a 3D printing accessory and all kinds of goodies. I mean, I had Loot Crate for the first year that I had this channel going, and I was pushing their shirts on the air, and I had their link, and nothing against them, but they never offered to help out at all. So, to me, a company that wants to send you a free one just to start and see if you like it, that means a lot. And obviously it was a review unit, so, but they offered me, I didn't reach out to them. They messaged me on Twitter and said, hey, would you be interested? I was like, yeah, of course. So I know they sent out other review boxes to other users, but it just feels good, when you're having a kind of a rough week and some really cool filament arrives and it's a good distraction. So
yeah,
that was good. That was real good. So
get your mind off of stuff, and sometimes you just gotta have that little bit of pick me up.
Exactly. And my wife does a real good job of keeping me smiling and laughing too. So that's helpful.
I'll bet she does.
Let's remember, she is like right there.
I know she is. That's the reason why I know she's giving you that look like a
same thing. So it's all good.
Yeah, she was thinking the same thing. So
does she want to come on? She's welcome to come in here.
No, she says no, not right now. She's she's busy doing some stuff. Tomorrow's actually our wedding anniversary. So
oh wow, well, happy anniversary.
Yeah, thanks. It's been all of 8 years and 9 years. Today is our first date. So we didn't get married the next day, just to clarify. We didn't have our first date and then get married the next day. It was
you are in Vegas, so
well, yeah, it could have happened. It could have happened. And Stella has joined us, so she may hop in on the air.
Say hi to Uncle Tim.
Come on. Come on.
Say hi to everyone.
Oh,
Say hi, everyone.
there's Stella.
There's Stella.
Stella, the 3D printing cat. She's looking at you. Oh,
Put me down.
she's like, put me down and let me go back in the window.
Yeah. She's such a fluffy kitty.
She is. And it's time for her weekly brushings as we go into the springtime here, because we're having some wacky weather in Vegas, like crazy. It rained like crazy today, and 2 days ago it was 105 degrees at my work.
Oh wow!
And now it's down to 70 something again, and it's raining. So it's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe that earthquake a few years ago really shifted the earth more than they told us.
And then tomorrow, probably the sun will come out, be all humid, and
it's exactly what's going to happen. In the next couple of days, we'll get more rain, and then it'll just dissipate, and then we'll have 95 degrees, and this valley will just be moist everywhere.
Man,
so how's things going with you?
You won't have any moisture at all in a few weeks. You'll be able to take your white bread out of the wrapper, let it set outside for a minute, and you'll have toast.
Pretty much. Pretty much. If we do the like what Angus and Maker's Muse did, if I put a PLA print in my car and leave it out there and I come back after work, it'll probably be turned back into like liquid resin in the bottom of my car somewhere. Because I get to about 140 degrees in cars here. So, I mean, that's enough to soften up a little PLA.
Oh, it'll do more than soften it. It'll melt it.
It will. And we're not talking Celsius, we're talking Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So
let's see who else we have in the chat here. I'm seeing a whole bunch of people. Oh wow. I didn't even notice we went that far back. BV3D, how you doing? Theresa, how you doing? What was it we were calling her? I forget. We'll get back to that later. The Combat Wombat. That's what it was.
Combat Wombat.
3D Medic, thank you for joining. My goodness. Alkish, how you doing? Jesse, hello. TK's in the house. Handy Outdoor Nerd, how you doing? Got Aaron in there, you know. Yeah, I think that is Randall's in there. How you doing, Randall?
I think we just need to turn a few more people into moderators and the room will completely be full of blue wrenches.
Yep. I pity the troll that comes up into this chat.
Yeah, where is Greg the Great?
Hey, Calvin's in there. How you doing, Calvin?
I haven't seen Greg the Great. Is he not coming in?
I have not seen him tonight.
I know
I think he was in last week.
Yeah, he was. I saw him stop by. Teresa says she is the troll.
Yeah, she's one of those lovable trolls.
There's a kitty here in my face who wants some attention.
Give her some attention.
Well, she's trying to find a place to squat down and relax. There's not enough lap room. I guess I could offer up my lap, but she smells all the. We've had so much rain, and then we had a lot of birds, and she goes nuts when the birds are out there. I mean, she's chattering her teeth and everything. It's crazy.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. But she's like, if she ever caught one, I don't think she'd know what to do with it. So
she'd bring it to you as a gift.
Yeah, and then expect me to do something with it.
Yeah.
I guess
Akish asking about my shelving units, if they're secured or freestanding. They're freestanding.
Are those the ones you got from Costco?
I got these from Sears. They had them marked down really cheap, so I picked them up.
Nice.
The Gladiator series, I believe.
How deep are they?
Oh, they're about 2 feet deep.
Oh, nice. That's plenty of room. Yeah.
Well, my bad thing is when I got them, I thought, oh, I'm never going to get them filled up. Well, yeah, I got them filled up. I got to do some more cleaning out here. What it was, when my mom was sick and we needed to take and rearrange her bedroom, we moved a lot of the stuff from inside the house out here as storage. And I never really sorted through everything after she passed. So I've got to go through and get everything sorted, and then I can start getting my other shelves that I took down and put those up so I can kind of spread things out a little bit more.
Well, thanks to G-Tech, they've already filled up your shelves for you.
Yeah, they did.
Trust me, I know. We had put a few of them back in their box until we move. So I want to get some big shelves because we're looking to have a bigger space and a garage area that I can put up all the printers on. But there was like no logical way to just put them somewhere in the house. So I just took them back apart again and put them back in their box. I mean, they're easy to put together. We're not talking rocket science with the G-Tech printer. Yeah. It's not like the Be Creative that took me 6 hours to put together. And if I took that thing apart, I'd probably jump off the roof. It's an awesome printer. I'm still struggling with my assembly was rushed because I was on the live stream. I should have done what Angus did and split it up amongst 2 days. But I rushed through it, and I'm getting a little bit of binding on one side, and I know exactly what it is. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not, but one of the lead screws is actually touching the flexible coupling all the way to the bottom. So when it comes down and does its bed check, for whatever reason, it gets to on the right side where it's touching. It can't do just that minute bit of movement, and it binds up right away. So
Oh,
I've
wow.
actually printed out some cubes. And they turned out pretty good. I was actually pretty happy with them, but you can definitely see that. I mean, you probably won't be able to see these in there, but you can definitely see. I don't know how you guys do this with the camera, but they didn't turn out that bad. I mean, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it binds every few steps, and I can hear it. It doesn't affect the print on just at a first glance level, but if you look at it like up close, you're like, oh yeah, look at that. There is a small problem. And obviously, with Angus and even Anthony from the hot end, those guys were getting some beautiful prints. So I know what I did wrong. I just have to take the time to fix it. So
I know that's once you get together, it's like, do I really want? How bad is that problem?
yeah, can I get away with it for the review? No close-ups, just say it's good. No, that would be dishonest, and that's not who I am. So no, that's on hold for now. There's this Arduino Eligo, I think they're called Eligo. They sent me this really cool Arduino super starter kit, and I've been dying to get it out of the package, but obviously with events that have been happening lately, I haven't been able to focus on anything but one thing. So I managed to get the filament review done, which was fun to do because that filament is just so awesome. And now I've got that up on deck next, and then I've got other stuff under the desk that's waiting to come up, because I've got all the stuff that I did before the events of April that I was supposed to do during April, and then it was just like, so.
Yeah. I know everything just kind of gets put on the back burner, but that's what you need to do.
Yes. Yeah. And, it's the one thing I can't stress enough about being a creator and having a life at the same time is that if life is kind of pushing the creator side away for a bit, instead of struggling trying to do something, you're better off just stopping and putting the creator side. Your fans will wait. If they really love your work and they really love what you do, they'll wait, throw out a tweet, hey, got a personal issue, something happened, gonna step aside for a month or whatever, and then just come back strong, or however you want to come back. I can't stress that enough how much that helped. I mean, I was still actively doing stuff, but I wasn't creating content.
Right.
I guess that's the easiest way to do it. My wife and I would still hang out here in the office. We'd watch TV via the internet, and I would print a few things here and there, and we'd chat, and then we'd end up going to bed, and that was it. That was the night. And I wasn't thinking about content. I wasn't planning on content. I was just, the printing thing was nice and soothing and something I like to do. And us just hanging out here and not even thinking about, hey, what am I going to do for my next video? It was nice because, there was other thoughts that I wanted to have in the forefront of my mind, not I need to get a video out.
Right.
So, which is much more important, this is a secondary thing for me, and it always has been. It's never going to be my source of income because I can't see it ever being a source of income. So it's not that I'm not trying, guys. I am trying, but 3 years, 6,600 subscribers. Yeah. It is what it is. I have a really great full-time job. I work in television, which has been a dream of mine since I was a little kid. So I'm not in front of the camera, just so everybody knows. So I'm happy with that. So creating content is kind of like an extension of what I do of my full-time job, because I work in television. I have a chance to film stuff and make graphics and edit and, have voiceover done by professionals and all that other stuff. So it's cool. So now doing content for me after taking a little break has to be enjoyable, or I'm not going to keep doing it.
Right.
Hands down, no gray area there. And I enjoyed making this video, so I know I can move forward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Just like with me, it's with the work way it's been. I just haven't had time, And whenever it was raining and stuff around here, there's one point I don't think I was out here for nearly a month. I didn't even come in the room. Between the weather and being sick and work, I would come home, cuddle with my little puppy, and fall asleep.
Exactly. Come home, cuddle my wife, and fall asleep. I mean,
yeah.
Speaking speaking of wives, how's your wife, Jimmy?
Yeah, how is Beth doing?
She's doing really good.
She liking the puppy as well?
Oh yeah, she spends all the time with the puppy. It's to the point where the little puppy doesn't want anything to do with me. Precious
Well,
just goes as soon as we walk in the door. It's all mommy. You know, if Beth goes out and she feeds the other dogs and goes and does whatever out in the yard, as soon as she opens the door, she leaves me.
well, she doesn't want to get caught.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. She doesn't want to get caught loving me.
Exactly. Our cat's the same way. I get dirty looks from her when I'm loving on my wife or touching my wife. The cat will glare at me like, what are you doing? I'm the only one that gets pets.
You know, Heather wants to be rubbed behind the ears every so often.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
I like it. Very soothing. And now I know why the cat likes it so much.
Exactly.
So what's been going on with stuff at the garage? You were saying the other day you were having to be more of a babysitter.
Well, they
Is
get
that
a little,
a taboo subject to talk about on the stream?
mechanics like to infight. You know, every so often you gotta be like a referee with them and try to soothe one while you slap around the other one. And yeah, it's amazing how grown men act whenever they go to work.
Well, especially in a garage. I mean, it's a little different if you're wearing a suit and a tie and you're in a room because there's enough people to point all kinds of, I don't know, harassment suits your way. But when you got bunch of guys swinging wrenches around, I guess it can get a little bit rough in there. Like,
Yeah, the talk is a little bit different in a shop compared to how it is in a business setting. The stuff that you say in a shop would get you fired really fast. But one of the first things I always ask somebody whenever I'm interviewing them, how are you about shop talk? Well, I'm fine with it. Okay, just want to be sure because, you know, if you're not into shop talk, you know, you might get offended.
you can work there that'd be a perfect job for you, baby. Heather would have no problem with those guys.
I know she wouldn't.
She'd whip them into shape. Yeah, there's Calvin. This I can vouch for.
Yeah, there's me when I'm online. There's me when I'm doing my videos. Then there's me in the shop.
Well, of course. Yeah, but as long as you're laughing and it's, you know, nobody's no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I try to keep everything light there.
Well,
For the moment, everything goes pretty good. It's just whenever certain people do certain things and tick off other people, you know, it starts the snowball effect.
it does, especially when you have camaraderie amongst mechanics.
Oh yeah.
It's the same in anywhere. It's the same in the community. If somebody, you know, there's a dissension in the ranks, you know, you can see it happening on Twitter before your very eyes, how quickly somebody gets put in their place. So there's that.
Teresa says she only does shop talk. I know.
Shop talk.
That's right. Real women only do shop talk. Adults at work is high school cliques. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, Brian. I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
about right.
And as soon as you leave the office, you're done with that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people may be friends with their coworkers, but they don't act the same when they're outside of work as they do in work.
No.
There's a transition because, you know, there's a certain decorum in today's society, even in a garage to a certain extent, that, you know, you don't want to spread out into the real world because, you know, you just don't want people to see that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know, things get done a certain way by certain people who have certain personalities, and that's the way it's always been. It's always been a mixing bowl of life to get things done. So, all this walking and talking gently amongst these suited coworkers can be a little tiring.
All I got to say is shop talk is nothing like it used to be when I went on construction sites.
Oh. You don't know the half of it. I worked in a lot of printing companies, and it's really loud in there. So they're having shop talk really loud. So it's not like you can't hear it. It's not like you walk into a conversation and you hear like the tail end and you're like, geez, what are you guys talking about? You're on the other side of the room and you're like, geez, what are you guys talking about?
Here's something fly past your ear.
Yeah.
I said.
I'm telling you, when those presses are going and those people are yelling, they got headphones on and they're yelling at each other and they're not being nice. So, and they know, these guys are veteran pressmen. They know how loud they're being. They just don't care. They're 50 years old. They're the only ones that can run that press that's older than they are. So, yeah, they can say whatever they want.
Yeah, it's that way in welding shops too. Those guys, they know they're not going to get replaced, and they can talk about the boss in front of the boss however they want.
Exactly. There's a few of those in the television world too, where they're a little bit louder and a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more snarky about their intelligence. So they, it doesn't matter who they're talking to, they treat them all exactly the same. But there's no respect.
It's usually not nice.
And there's usually no respect at all. So it's like, okay, I guess that's how it's going to be. But you don't say that, You lead by example in a lot of situations, but when the leader shows that kind of example and you know better not to say that. So
right.
It's just the way, some of these people have been working together and for 20, 25 years when there was a lot of the people probably don't know this because they're a lot younger than you and I, but it was a different world in the 80s in the workplace. It was a lot different world in the 80s in the workplace. So I actually like the way it is now. I think it's better. I think it's more conducive to getting work done. But shop talk will always be shop talk. Yeah.
And honestly, the shop talk over the years has actually gotten worse. There was stuff that
you can do it.
There was stuff that was said back, even back in the 80s, that if they heard some of it that goes on today, they would be like, oh my God.
Well, we've been exposed to social media and the internet and everything else that, what did we have in the 80s? AOL?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it couldn't be any less PG on that network.
Actually, 80s, I don't think we even had AOL at the 80s. Or probably about 88, 89, along in there.
Yeah, in the late 80s, we had CompuServe was the original working with. And then it was, bulletin boards, non-graphical. You were lucky to see anything, so.
I know, it took forever to load those pictures.
Yeah,
they were all monochrome.
Yeah. Progressive JPEGs were the just bane of our existence back then.
One line.
Yeah, one line at a time.
It's almost as bad as trying to watch porn on a scrambled channel on TV.
I don't know anything about that.
If you move just right for one moment, it would like.
Or, you could get really, really drunk and stare at the TV. And after a while, the picture would just suddenly slowly come into focus for just a few minutes. Just enough for you to pass out.
What's funny is they didn't scramble the sound.
I always wonder, we used to watch HBO because where I grew up, that channel, the adult channel, wasn't on the dial. There was like 5 selections, like HBO, and then there was something else. But they didn't have that like in the, it was the same boxes you used to see in old hotel rooms. You had a choice of a couple channels.
Black boxes just had the little dial thing.
Yeah, and it was not tuning or anything. You just selected whatever satellite signal was coming down. But ours had HBO on it. That was the only one that had HBO and then HBO with Spanish overdub. And they scrambled the signal, but not the audio. And depending on, like, if it was just like some regular old TV show or movie, they barely scrambled it. But if it was after 11 o'clock at night, that thing was like, all over the place. But you still had the audio, which just was kind of weird. So you flip it over, and you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? No, turn that. Turn that off. Yeah, Skinamax.
Then they went to the digital boxes. Well, they weren't really. They were the analog boxes,
right?
Where you could use the channel changer with it.
Yeah.
And those, sometimes if you hit up the right person, you could get an unlocked box.
Yeah. Well, they actually sold them back in the day. In the back of Popular Mechanics magazine, you could get a Scientific Atlanta cable box. Do you remember those? The little brown beige box that was unlocked for like $100 and some. And back then that was a lot of money, but you could get, and then you could plug in that cable and there was a roll of the dice whether it would work.
Yeah.
And then if you were smart, all you had to do is go out to the D-Mark, pull the trap off, stick it back in, and Bob's your uncle, you had all the stations. So, not that I knew how to do that or ever advise anyone from going out to their D-Mark, pulling off the trap, and reconnecting it so you can get free cable. I don't know. I think they actually still use those generic little traps. Is there anybody who still does cable out there? I think they still use those traps.
They may have changed it because now it's all digital anymore.
That's what I thought.
Well, yeah, they have to be able to ping your box to set up your pay-per-view, so you're probably right. They probably removed the traps because people figured it out after a while. Because you could actually buy the trap that said HBO on it out of the back of Popular Mechanics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's even said they had filters on the line to filter out the premium channels. I pulled those off the cable at my boss's house in 1986. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's the difference of now and then. Back then, you were like, hey, thanks for the cable. You'd go walking out there after the guy left, open the box up, because there was no lock on it. You just unscrew that metal tube, toss that aside, connect it. How's it going, Ma? We got all the channels. Telling you, if that didn't work, you could offer the cable installer a beer and a pizza, and he'd give you a free cable.
Oh yeah, back then you $100 and you could get anything you wanted.
Yeah. Now with the digital, they can track and trap you. So.
Oh yeah. Now it's all pinned down. Now, of course, now the funny thing is now you can just go on there and then get all the porn you want for free. How was it? I saw a thing the other day that said back in the 80s, water was free and you paid for porn. Now you pay for water and the porn's free.
They've realized their priorities, I guess.
I guess so.
The markets realize that it's better to pay for the water.
Yeah, our vending machine at work, it's $1.75 for a bottle of water, but it's $1.50 for a can of Coke.
But they're probably made by the same company too.
Yeah, exactly.
Dasani and Coke, I think, are the same company, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know why they did that, Jimmy?
What's that?
Do you know why they made it more expensive for soda?
How come?
So, sugar for one, and two, Coke made a pact with the government
To charge more for soda.
to help people lose weight.
Yep. So they're charging more for soda and less for water to make you buy water instead of soda.
But what's funny is that our vending machine, it's more for water than it is for soda. Soda's $1.50 and the water's $1.75.
Well, then you're just getting ripped off.
Then yeah, you guys are just getting ripped off.
That's what I say.
Yeah, they want you to. It's like they're saying in the chat. It's the sugar tax or the sin tax in some states.
Exactly.
Obesity has hit an all-time high. Working in the news, I've seen it. We just did a story on it last week, and it's ridiculous how much people are consuming. So I agree. I humbly agree with them that they should charge more for the sugary beverages.
Yeah, I just go for the diet. Hey, how about that product placement?
Yeah. Starbucks, one of the finest coffees in America.
KFC, finger licking good.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that.
Money.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you though, TK. It won't stop obesity, but it'll get people to make more educated decisions when they go to buy something for their kids. When they go into a convenience store and the soda is $1.75 and the water is $1, and it comes in a more attractive package, or it might have a flavor in it and no sugar in it, maybe the parents will make a more conscious decision and walk back to the car and say, no soda, and hand the kids water, and maybe that'll start the ball rolling into a more healthy lifestyle. But it's not going to stop obesity. The obesity has to stop at the home. The government's just stepping in because apparently the parents aren't doing enough. So,
as long as EBT still allows them to get Coke, they're going to get Coke.
That's right. As soon as they start restricting what you can purchase on the EBT, then that's going to help out a little bit too.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be able to go to Walgreens and buy 2 liters of soda and put it on your EBT.
I see that at Walmart up here all the time. You'll see just Coke after Coke after Coke. It's all over the deal, and they'll be paying with an EBT where you would think that they would say, okay, we limit so much per month on that kind of a thing, just milk, water, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But I guess they don't really have a way of tracking any of that.
No, well, they do and they don't. They could track it, but it's the manpower to track it.
Yeah.
Someone would have to pay for a very expensive piece of software, which the government would totally overpay for after bidding for 6 to 8 months for all these different companies, and end up getting taken over. And then somebody would complain that it's a biased system, and then they want it to be publicly run, and then somebody would ruin it, and we'd end up with our public healthcare system.
That's right. We are done like that. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Unfortunately, when you let companies like AT&T and big companies like Xerox run your healthcare system implementation, you're going to run into problems.
Yep.
There's no getting around it.
Oh yeah, it's. Did you ever see that? Did you ever watch that? Adam Ruins Everything.
Yes. I find him annoying, but his startling.
Did you ever see the one about the sugar where there's the guy between the scientist that said that sugar was bad, and then the one that says no, fat is bad. Fat makes you fat, and the other guy's like, no, sugar makes you fat. And the government sided with the one that said fat makes you fat, and that's the reason why everything went to low fat this, low fat that. Don't eat butter. Butter's bad for you because it's got fat. Use this man-made butter. It's better for you. It'll clog your arteries, but it's better for you.
Yeah, we don't have a rocket fuel.
Yeah, we don't have the long-term side effects data for eating. I can't believe it's not butter. We can take a look at Fabio and see how he's turning out. I think in the long term, I think there was a study that was done, and George Takei, your good friend, George Takei, actually tweeted out a little motion graphic about. Dude did his George Takei.
Oh.
Yeah. He was talking about how a lot of food isn't what you think it is because of cost-saving methods, and they're using a lot of food substitutes. Like vanilla is like highly expensive, and there literally is no vanilla in vanilla anymore.
Right. Unless
you go out and buy it and put it in there yourself, or you see the little flecks in the whatever you're eating. It's some chemical that's supposed to taste like vanilla. But we've been weaned on it for so many years, we wouldn't know any better. So that goes the same with some of these other items. We don't know the long-term effects. I mean, it took them like 5-10 years to figure out saccharin was killing people and causing cancer. But then they found 19 other sweeteners that they could use instead.
Yeah.
So,
And yet, have they taken saccharin off the market?
No. No, they haven't. Nope, they just put a warning label on it now instead.
Along with everything else that California puts warning labels on.
Yeah, it's like you don't even know what you're buying. It's just a warning label. It's like, what is this? Is this meat sauce or is this soda?
I saw a Prop 65 warning on a brand new car the other day saying that this vehicle contains. It's like, come on. Just the smell of the car is supposed to give you cancer now.
Yes, because the new car smell is artificial because cars don't actually smell that way when they spray the inside of them with that smell to last 6 to 8 months. Everything's saturated in it. Because the smell of fresh plastic, is everybody in the chat room will tell you, isn't a very pleasant smell you want in your car. Yeah, Cancerfornia. That's a good one.
Exactly right. I am proud of that one judge that refused to put the cancer warning on coffee, though.
No, there's no point. There's no point in that. It's not going to cause cancer. What's going to cause cancer is not drinking coffee.
Exactly. Cancer. Coffee prevents cancer.
It does. It tears up everything in your system. You don't want that stuff going away.
Do you remember a while back when they were doing all these different studies on coffee, and one study came out said coffee would raise your cholesterol levels. Another one came out 6 months later saying it would lower your cholesterol levels. Then another study came out said it would raise it, and they went back and forth for the longest to the point where I don't even know what study even went out on all of it. I quit even paying attention.
I don't personally think any of it has any validity because I think what causes high cholesterol is bad eating habits.
Yeah.
Caffeine increases your blood pressure, which circulates your blood a little bit quicker, which causes you to do things. More than likely, you're going to get up off your chubby little cholesterol-ridden butt and go run around and do something if you drink more coffee. And I know for a fact that, coffee is one of those acidic things that actually breaks down a lot of food. It's somewhat necessary in diet. I think there are some societies that drinking a latte or a cappuccino after every single big meal is almost required to help digestion. So, people are like, oh, yeah, it causes cancer. I said, yeah, probably not. I think the sugar in the artificial creamer that you dump into your coffee, that causes cancer.
Yeah, especially on Mythbusters, you see where they took that artificial coffee creamer and made the big cloud of the big fireball out of it.
Oh, yeah, it's totally flammable. Yeah, it's completely flammable. Just like cinnamon is completely flammable. There's like all these things that people take for granted, but, they're kind of dangerous.
Yeah. And I don't remember the last time I saw milk catch on fire, so.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that. But I do remember the last time I drank milk and it tasted like dirty dishwater because they come up with this thing called skim milk.
Oh, that's so nasty.
Ugh, can't stand that stuff. It literally isn't even milk at that point. It's like
anything below 2%, I can't stand it.
Sorry, wife is doing a selfie. I had to pose. I can't drink the whole milk anymore because it kind of looks like somebody filled a glass with Elmer's glue.
Yeah.
It's just too much. But yeah, the skim milk is disgusting. We got a couple of late viewers coming in. Shalom joined the room.
Cool.
Theory's here.
How you doing, Theory?
Yeah, the new car smell is adhesive fumes. That's exactly what it is. So what do you got coming up on your channel there, Mr. Jimmy?
At the moment, I got absolutely nothing.
Just printing stuff?
Yeah. Now, one thing I do, I don't know, did you hear all this went on with that 3D Hero?
What's the...
So...
I try to stay away from, me, I stay away from the gossip as much as I can. Okay. I don't want to open my mouth and insert my foot, so I stay away from it.
A while back, they came on, they said, we're looking for reviewers for our filament. I'm like, okay. So I went ahead and I ordered a roll and I sent them a message saying, okay, I ordered one of your rolls of filament. Okay, well, send us your PayPal. We want to refund you the money.
I did hear you talking about that, yes.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not going to do that because I'm just letting you know that I'm going to do a review on it. Next thing I know, that's happened like months ago. And then it was like, what, a week? 2 weeks ago? I wake up, I see a message on my phone or a string of messages saying, this is against the policy and this and that. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? I go and I read up, and I guess they had changed their account because that time it was some other company that back whenever I got this, and now they're going by 3D Hero on Twitter, and they sent out a message with my name saying, I don't mean a message. I'm talking a open on Twitter, Jimmy Shaw's Tidbits. You need to send us your PayPal so we can refund you for the filament so you can do the review. And I'm like, what the? So I was like, I had already cut off communication off with them a long time ago. And so when that came up, they then tried contacting me on Facebook. And the guy is like, hey, we've been trying to get hold of you. I said, yeah, about that. So I told him what I thought about what they pulled on Twitter. I said, first off, I said, I'm not giving you my PayPal. I'm not doing that because that's not the way this works.
No.
You know, I bought the filament. Was going to do a review on it, and then when you guys kept pushing, I just left it on my shelf. And so they apologized for it. And so the agreement now is eventually I will go ahead and open up this box, go ahead and try it out and review it. But that's it. They did send me a 3D pen just willy-nilly. This out of the blue. I was like, can you give me your address? Okay. The other day, a 3D pen shows up on the doorstep.
Do you have it? Let me see it.
It's actually in the house. I can go grab it. But
no. Just tweet it on the message to me. Is it a single color, or did they send you the 3-color one?
I think it's a single color. I'm not for sure. I just barely opened the package and looked in there. I was like, oh, a 3D pen. And I saw the company and I was like, okay, well, it's they said that.
Yeah, because I think they're going under Sunlu. I think that's what Brian was saying.
Yeah, that's the main company's name is Sunlu or something like that.
The company is Sunlu, yeah. Because I think they came at me too for a pen review, and I turned them down because they kind of wanted me to buy it off of Amazon, and then they would reimburse me later. And
yeah,
I was like, that's not how it works. And I tried to explain that. I think there was just a language barrier understanding, but they didn't understand that you send it to us for free and we promote it if it's great, and you don't have to pay us. It's called free advertising. Yeah, sure, we get to keep your $20 pen, but you're getting a lot of free advertising. So, and I don't think they get it. And I actually had someone.
That's exactly what whenever I started communicating them on Facebook, that's the impression I got, is that there's a language barrier, that they didn't quite understand how things were supposed to work here. And so I explained it to them, and then that everything kind of got ironed over, and everything's all right at the moment. They're not sending me mad messages saying, give us your
PayPal. We need your PayPal. We want to give you money.
It's like, no, I don't want your money.
I understand. I know Tom went through this, and there was an incident where I think it was Tom, where he said that they were trying to send him to cover the cost of the shipping or the VAT or whatever it was the cost, but they sent him like $500 instead of like $50 or whatever it was. But then again, that could have been one thing, but made into another. Like maybe just how easy it is to make a mistake on a keyboard. I mean, read Twitter for an hour. There's so many typos. It's almost hilarious. So I know it's how easy it is to make.
Right. They want a verified buyer to review on Amazon. That's exactly what
they're all looking for. Is they're all looking for verified. I've gotten 2 or 3 of them that are asking me to go do the Amazon route, and then they would either give me a gift card or refund my money on PayPal. But they want you to do a review before you even get the product. Like they were bugging me relentlessly. Like, can you at least leave a note that you're going to be posting a review? Like, that makes no sense.
Right.
And I already have the best pen ever. It holds 3 colors. How are you going to top that?
Lucky.
I mean, that was a huge win from GearBest. They sent me that thing. I was like, heck yeah, I want a 3-color pen. I saw it at CES like 2 weeks previous. And I was like, There's nothing else like this. It's programmable to a certain extent, but it has temperatures that you can dial in. So like any filament will work. It's not a kid's toy, definitely not a kid's toy. But any filament will work in there, and you can use flexible, you can use wood fill, you can use anything you want when you can dial in the temperatures. And having 3 colors in, or 3 different materials, you know, as far as pen fun goes, I think that's, I mean, the next step up for me would be a chocolate pen.
Yeah.
You know, so I can print chocolate and eat it, which would just be a middleman for me eating the chocolate. So I can just eat the chocolate, or I can make stuff with it and then eat it. Just, I'm going to draw a big old chocolate face. You do a little polygon all over my face. You can do print that thing's hat out of chocolate and then just take a big bite out of it, and people will be like, "What?"
Yeah, what they do, I'll make clear to everybody in the chat, because I see where somebody said they did it with something in a review. There's nothing wrong with people who want to do that type of thing. At least I don't see a problem with it. But whenever you are an affiliate, that's a whole nother animal. You can't do that kind of stuff. Whenever you are an affiliate with Amazon, you cannot do the buy something, do a review, all that.
Yeah, I understand what Eddie's saying, and it totally, there is a conversation that's probably another hour about whether or not getting items for free taints the opinion of the review. And as someone who's gotten 90% of the products on the channel as a review item, and that's not from me out asking, I'd say about 25% is me asking for product. The other 75% was offered to the channel because of the fact that I clearly give an honest opinion. And we can talk about the upcoming Kodak review, and I can talk about that right now because I've already talked to them, and there's nothing to hide here. The original machine that was delivered to me was defective. The new machine is arriving in a couple of days. There'll be a fresh unboxing. I'm not going to hide anything from you guys. I never have, never will. And it will never taint my review that they sent it to me for free. If anything, it's going to convince me to be a little bit more respectful of the product because they did send it to me for free. Now, if I paid for it myself and I bust it, I'm going to be even more mad. But if they give it to me for free and I break it, I'm going to be humiliated when I have to admit that. Like, go back to a vendor and go, I think I broke it, or I think I did something wrong to this. I want to give you guys a fair shake in your review. I know it's not your product. I know I did something. Now, if there's something wrong with the product, I've been more than upfront about it. And again, if we want to talk about, I know this Kodak review has been on the back burner, and I know there are no other reviews out there of this printer, and mine came with the defective bed. And I don't feel the need to broadcast that. It's a matter of respect between myself and the manufacturer to communicate internally to solve the problem. But I also, as always, will also be 100% upfront and tell you guys, like I'm telling you right now, and I will tell you in the review, the initial machine was defective.
Yeah.
The new machine hopefully won't be defective. And I'll admit that in my review. Kodak was more than happy when I told them I'm going to admit that in the review. They were like, that happens. So, and I this filament here that I just got, I've been waiting to print with this glint filament since all y'all been printing with it for a long time. Most people have been. So when they offered to send it in the profile box, I was like, sure, it's a way for me to get the filament. And I love subscription boxes. Like I said earlier, we had Loot Crate for what, 2 years? Wearing a shirt right now from Loot Crate. Love the service. I think they're cool. They gave me some crappy products. A Thanos oven mitt that starts on fire. So, and I was not shy about telling everybody about that, and I still have mine. I never returned it. So, you know, honesty is the best policy. My mother, my father, both taught me that honesty is best policy. It may make me some friends, it may make me some enemies, people may disagree with me, but you know what? In the long run, I'm the one that has to sleep with these thoughts and these opinions and all this other stuff. Y'all don't. So if I can sleep with my brain intact like that and know that I'm giving everybody an honest opinion, no matter if I bought it or not. I mean, I bought that marble filament. I'm going to review it just like I got it for free.
Yeah.
It's good, but it has its downfalls, just like any other product.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. Here's the thing with me. When you watch a reviewer and all they do is give you the glossed over, look at what this machine does. Look at this. Here's the prints that I've produced, and they just look at how this print looks. And look at how this print looks. It's a big, look at how this print came out. It's so amazing. Instead of, look at how this print turned out. Yeah.
It's great. And when I posted my first prints from the Kodak and people were like downloading the images and bringing them into Photoshop and reversing the contrast and bringing up the brightness and looking for any kind of defect, hey, awesome, more power to you. I appreciate that. I can't see it. Listen, I've been without proper vision for what, a year and a half? I can barely see, dude. So if you guys can see the layer lines, awesome, I'll fix the print. But honestly, when I show my reviews and when I do all my stuff, I try to be as upfront as possible because these companies are relying on us to put the word out. If it's a shitty product, you got to tell them that.
Yeah.
Whether you do it online or privately, it doesn't matter how it's done as long as it's done. If you buy a widget and it breaks and you just throw it in the garbage and you say, F it, I don't care, I will never use that product again. One, they're never going to solve the problem. Two, no one's ever going to know you had a problem. And three, you wasted money. You should have taken that back and gotten a refund or sent it back to the manufacturer. When I was in high school, we did this lesson about broken stuff. We would send, if you had a broken item, we would bring it into school. We sent it off to the manufacturer with a letter saying how unhappy we were with this broken item. And you know what? About 90% of them sent us a brand new one.
Yeah.
Brand new one. If you communicate with your manufacturers and you're open and honest, you're going to get better service. If you have a problem, you need to tell them about it. If you do it publicly, fine, that's cool with me. That's not my cup of tea. If you do it privately through an email or through instant message or whatever and explain the issue, I think that's more respectful. So I try to keep my stuff for my channel, and I always have, between myself and the manufacturer until I'm ready to release the information. Experience being, I did some minor journalism back in the day, and one thing I experienced was you don't give away the whole story before you give away the story. Like when you see movie trailers, they even put fake scenes in them to throw you off.
Yeah.
And then you go see the movie and you're like, holy cow, that was amazing. Same thing. I treat my stuff like it's a movie. I'm going to give you tidbits of information while we're doing our testing. If there's a problem, I'm not going to tell you about it. You didn't know that there was $100 million worth of reshoots in that last movie because you don't care about that stuff. Right. You don't. So when my review comes out, you'll get everything. In the meantime, I'm just going to communicate with the manufacturer. Unless, of course, they really treat you poorly, or like you would with your situation where they called you out on social media, hey, where's your PayPal so we can pay you for the review? And you got to kind of pull the pin.
I am glad that happened, and I'll tell you why. At least people know I didn't give them my PayPal.
Exactly. You didn't say, hey, DM me.
Yeah.
You were just like, done.
It was funny as they deleted that before I even saw it. If it wasn't for, what's his name? Was it Tom?
Yeah.
I said, what was the original post? I don't see it. And so he shared the original post with me. If it hadn't have been for that, I would have never even known that post existed because it got deleted sometime during the night.
Right. Yeah, that whole conversation got deleted. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, no, and I agree with Eddie. If you're beta testing something for a company, that's totally different. That's part of something.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, and and I know some people might actually agree with me on this, is a lot of these in the last year, I would say 3 phases of different size printers from different manufacturers were sent out before they were tested fully.
Yeah.
So I know Neary's, Joel Telling, anybody who's gotten one of these first run units and then found out later that it had a different board in the next run, or it had bigger knobs for the bed leveling, or it had a runout sensor that you thought you were supposed to get. I mean, the age of the beta tester as a reviewer, I hope is over, because that kind of sucked. Because you got a printer that was different from mine.
Yeah.
You know, and we're both dealing with the same manufacturer. What the? Come on.
And what
we fixed something, so we're sending out a new version.
What I'm understanding is with every production run they do, they change something on it.
Yeah. And then there's mixed bag. GearBest has 50 units. Yeah. So you have a backup. You have 50 units at GearBest that never got sold that have the old board. You buy direct from the manufacturer, say, for instance, G-Tech. You buy directly from them, you're getting it directly off the line. It comes off the line, gets wrapped up in a box, slap your label, off to America. The ones that from GearBest, they get sit in a warehouse for 6-8 months before they end up getting shipped sometimes. I mean, how many TiVo tarantulas are out there that are first run and new run? And I put together a first run, and like I said, that was a piece of crap. So I saw other people who got much better units than the one I got. So
even right now, if you go on to GearBest and you order a TiVo Tornado, you will get the first production run of TiVo Tornadoes.
Yes.
And yet, the TiVo doesn't even make that one anymore.
Nope.
But people will buy that one. They'll say, "Well, that's a piece of garbage." Yeah, but it's not the one that they have now.
But, like Eddie is saying, that's very common in manufacturing, but it can be common in manufacturing to a certain extent. It shouldn't be common enough that when you send out, see, from my understanding, from a little behind the scenes of Kodak's recent system, is they had about 500 units that were produced initially and sent out. Now, those had some issues. Some of them were repaired pretty quickly. Others were replaced with a newer line production run with some minor improvements. That I get. That's development. If you have a lifespan of 2.5 years before the printer hits the common market, I can understand that. I've actually spoke to a user who backed the Kodak portrait 2 years ago, and there were some issues. So, it's part of the manufacturing process. But when a company says, hey, and they're all over social media and like in your face all over social media, buy our newest quote unquote 3D printer for $250, and everybody and their uncle sends their money to them and buys them. And then the very next week, they change something so the next batch of users gets a new model. I don't agree with that. They don't even say anything. They just send it out. So that I don't agree with. They don't update the website. They don't update the data sheets. They don't update anything. They just make the minor improvements to the manufacturing and send it out and don't inform the users. And then you have, like I said, overlap. Banggood, GearBest, all these different companies have version A, version B, version C, version D, and it just stacks up and becomes just an incoherent mess of which printers are the most recent. I think even Chuck pointed out something like that with the Ender. He did a whole video about it, about some boards not having their most current chip in it or something. And I try to stay away from that kind of talk. But if that's how companies are that's your SOP for doing testing and manufacturing, I kind of don't want one of their units then. To me, that scares me. It's like, well, I'll wait till you guys get the alpha unit. I don't want the beta unit.
Well, from what I understand, GearBest has a deal with most of these companies in China that their first production run goes to them before they can even offer it on their own website and deliver it to their own customers. They have to fulfill their order with GearBest. And I think that's where a lot of the issues are coming up, because I have done 2 GearBest specials. And the first one, sparks everywhere.
Yeah, you remember Mr. Blue Smoke?
The second was the TiVo Tornado.
Yes.
And Team Tornado was not bad.
No, you had a good experience with yours.
It also wasn't the newest one either. It was from the first production run.
Right. You had the same one I did, actually.
Yeah.
With all the acrylic parts and a lot of things that were missing. Yeah. Acrylic parts that were quite fitting together, eccentric nuts that didn't quite do what they were supposed to do. Yeah. But again, I mean, I understand that if that's the SOP for Chinese manufacturing, and that's what Rob is saying in there. And you know, right now there's the TiVo Pro pre-ordering for $200. They're going to sell a boatload of those, and I honestly think that's a 3D rendering, and they haven't even started manufacturing.
Which one's that?
That's the TiVo Pro. It's up in the chat. They're talking about it. There's a tweet online from the actual TiVo official. It's a cool looking printer. It's got some flashy bottom base on it. Kind of looks like the A20M, but with a really cool base on it and more of the TiVo look to it. That to me it's a 3D rendering for sure. It's a 3D rendering, and it's also it's like a pre-sale. They want, say, 500 orders to come in, and then GearBest to drop a 1,000-piece order, and Bango to drop a 1,000-piece order, and then they send it down the street to GearBest / Ender / Creality / TiVo / whoever else, because I think they're all in the same district, basically all in the same building. I think they're all in the same building too.
The reason why I say that is because you remember all of them seem to move to this new facility.
Yes, they did. They all moved at the same time.
Yeah.
So now they did the same thing with the Tornado, like Eddie said, and they delayed shipping for 3 months because it took them that much time to build the assembly line, get everything manufactured and ready, and start actually putting the printers together while they still were fulfilling orders for the initial line. Now, I've seen some tours of Creality and some of these other places. They only seem to do a couple of models of printer in batches. They would do like 1,000 of this one, and then they'd stop and retool and do 1,000 of this one. So in between there is when they're doing, I think, their development for new models or revisions. So I think what we're seeing with the TiVo Pro will be a boatload of pre-orders, and then we'll see the first ones in the wild. And then 6 months later, you'll see an upgraded version with some minor changes to it. And that'll be the alpha unit.
Yeah.
And it won't be $200 then.
No.
No, it'll be more like $399.
Yeah, $399 to $499, somewhere in there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because the 200 will cover just their cost for development and their technicians to build 1 or 2 of them to put on their social media channels and to sell to the uppers that they need to buy, you know, $10 million worth of parts from Shenzhen and start the manufacturing process.
Now, which one of these companies do you think will actually come out with a printer to rival the G-Max?
Without exactly cloning it? I don't see. This thing's a rigid beast, and it's really expensive. I mean, I've actually priced out replacing all the aluminum extrusion with purple. And it's really expensive for the 40 by 40, and it's super heavy duty. So I don't know. I don't see anybody. Well, you know, what's it? Formbot. They pretty much just cloned the machine for the T-Rex, and then they just iterated it up from there to make their own version of it, which was noble. I mean, it's an open source printer. Gordon didn't seem to really mind because it helped sell more of his because theirs sucked. So, but I don't see anybody rivaling this thing because I don't think it's cost effective to build it in mass production.
Well, that's one thing I'm kind of thinking too, is that they, as far as shipping wise and as far as weight, size of the box and everything, I don't see how they're going to be able to quite match the size of it.
That's what I mean. I mean, with the cost of the parts alone. I mean, the bed, that big heated bed, that's a couple $100 right there. And that's a separate unit. It's not integrated into the Marlin system on the G-Max. Currently, I don't know if the 2.0 is going to, I don't know if Gordon's integrated the heated bed or not. I don't think he has. I think the option of taking it off and running it independently still feels like a good working model for him. And I think it actually works fine for me. I only use it when I'm going to use exotic materials because pretty much everything sticks to acrylic. So I mean, I don't PET G, flexible, PLA. Everything sticks to it. So, but I don't see a company. I know Any Cubic already has one close. Eddie says.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't follow a lot of the other printing companies because if they're not like in the immediate radar of like social media, what everybody else is working on and what everybody else is kind of doing, I don't really see it. And then I read all the newsletters, the 3D printing industry, Fabulo. I get like 4 a day from these guys. I go through them all day long. That's like, or not all day, but I go through all of them and skim through the articles. I haven't seen anybody that pops off. I know, was it Big Rep? They have a machine that's pretty incredible. Yeah. It's capable of printing like an office chair.
Oh, really?
They do bicycles and they do some pretty crazy big stuff. But their machines are at another zero. Man. I think with the 2.0 G-Max dropping down to, was it $34.99? I think that's actually, considering that's how much the Kodak is and it's like a third of the build volume, I think it's a good deal. I mean, if you're going to buy an industrial printer, you can slap a 0.3 millimeter nozzle on here and print fine stuff if you want. Yeah, it sees that one ended up with a mosquito and a duet. Any Cubic Chiron. It's a 400 by 400 by 500. But that's not close to that. I mean,
what size is that one?
Well, I know it's 16 inches by 16 inches by 21. So all you Imperial haters out there can tell me what that is. I don't know what it is offhand.
How is it? I heard one guy say it the other day. Freedom units.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I don't know if anybody noticed in that last video I did. I used a tape measure and did it in inches. I went to Tinkercad and I switched it to inches and nobody probably even noticed it. I pulled a Calvin. Yeah,
Freedom units. Yeah, 16 inches is 405 millimeters from Eddie. And I think 21 is what, 530 some odd millimeters, Eddie? Somewhere around there. 21 inches. But you don't, the G-Max has that build volume, but you can only utilize, I think, 15 and a half by 20 because you have the filament coming in and the cable and, you have your bed clips on the edge and stuff. And you really don't want to run prints all the way to the edge of your print bed. I know it's cool to fill up the print bed like that, but I personally don't think that's a good idea to really like overwork the extruder by having it go to every single point of a 16-inch square bed. But yeah, 16 inches for $500. That's a pretty good size machine, 400 by 400 by 500. I mean, that's pretty close to the G-Max size.
For $500?
Yeah, that's what Eddie's saying. The Any Cubic Chiron.
Wow, that's actually not bad.
No, that's not. That's an interesting something. I mean, what is the Formbot T-Rex 2 going for? Isn't that an IDEX machine now? Didn't they convert that into an IDEX?
I think so.
Yeah, because I think they wanted to step away from being a complete clone of the G Create machine. So I think they went IDEX on that one. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's what Eddie said too. I figure Eddie would know. All right, Brian's taking off.
Take care, Brian. Yeah, I guess we better go ahead and call it. It's already 9:40.
Wifey's over there painting away.
Oh, really? What's she painting?
They're just doing some random art.
Oh,
we're gonna do some acrylic. Yeah, we're gonna do some acrylic pours. I've been watching all these people do all these cool acrylic pours, and Evan and Caitlin did that cool stuff with the resin and stuff. And I found a local boat repair shop here because we got Lake Mead, and they have all that aquatic safe resin, so that stuff's good for using around the house. And they'll be willing to work with me because it's Lake Mead. It's almost dry.
Is it almost dry now?
No. We got some heavy rain this last week. I think it's actually doing some good. So,
did it fill up that ditch over by that casino?
Yes, it does. Yes, it did. And actually, the one we drove by on Durango, and I told you that one fills up during the rain.
Yeah.
That one's completely full, like scary full.
Oh,
Like if you
man.
drove by it, you'd be like, dude, you guys need to move. This place is going to flood soon.
All the homeless people out.
Yeah, all the homeless people have no place to stay right now. So,
They all got washed down that gully.
yeah. How is Raider Nation coming? Eddie?
Hey,
We don't
are
talk
they building that toilet bowl looking stadium with the
Eddie?
toilet races up?
Eddie? I'm sorry, but no.
Let's put it this way: they're having to rent out the stadium up in Oakland again because, yeah, they're having all kinds of issues up there. The Oakland decided to go ahead and rent it out to them while they're suing them.
Well, because you know what? The stadium that the Vegas people are building for these guys is like Valhalla for football. They literally have the field on tracks so it can exit the stadium and be maintained in the bright sunlight of Vegas. And then when they need it, they can roll that beautiful grass right back in so those Raiders have beautiful, fresh, soft grass to put their little footsies on.
But it'll be brown, won't it?
Yeah, it's going to be basically a fire hazard as soon as they pull it out there. I don't know what they were thinking.
It's
Yeah,
like, have any of these people ever been to Vegas?
they clearly have not. I think the same builders are the same guys that were responsible for the Dirksen Federal Building in downtown Chicago, which turned into a greenhouse when they finished it. It's literally a giant glass building, and they forgot to use the tint that's UV protective on it. So when they opened the building, everybody inside cooked.
So are they actually going to make the stadium that oval with the toilet seat looking lid to it?
Yeah,
Open
yeah,
up.
it's almost fitting. Almost fitting.
And does it make a flushing noise when they lose?
No, but the cars going by on the 15 will make plenty of noise because it's literally sitting on the highway. I mean, they shoved the stadium into an industrial park right next to the highway. They just wedged it right in there. Like that's the spot for it. Incredible. If you plan ahead right now, you can go buy a vacant lot within a block of that place and sit on it until the stadium opens, and then you can charge $50 a car for parking.
Oh yeah.
And retire on that money during football season.
Of course, you have to do a lot of discounted parking tickets the way they play.
Yeah. It might turn into free parking before the season ends. Well, if it's any indication of how happy the people are that they're coming here, I doubt that they're going to play a true game.
Really?
I don't think they will. I think they'd be happier because they don't know what it's like to be here during the summer.
No.
Spring training and summer camp for football is going to be literally like training on the surface of the sun. So I've lived here
The only time they ever go to Vegas is when they go to gamble in the air-conditioned casinos.
Yeah, but that doesn't help. You still have to go back outside. As long as you don't mind that faint smell of smoke and fresh oxygen.
What do you mean the faint smell of smoke?
Okay, the strong smell of smoke. I tell you, this weekend, Heather and I went to a scale car model show at one of the casinos on the other side of town, and we haven't been in a casino since you guys were here. I mean, that's how long I think it's been since we've been inside a casino. And first thing you notice when I walked in the door is like, oh, that smell. Good God. And there's like people with oxygen on with a cigarette in their hand, and it's just
just waiting for him to implode, huh?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I just had visions of Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet as Frank Booth with his nitrogen mask on. Oy vey. Well, you think you want to call it, my friend?
Yeah, let's go ahead and call it. I got to get around and be up at work early tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Not
it's gotta
today.
get
I've got 3 weeks before inventory.
Oh, yikes.
3 weeks, and they just told us today.
Well, at least they gave you a heads up.
Yeah, I guess I could have waited until the week before.
They set up to do a town hall meeting right outside my office for tomorrow morning, unscheduled. So when I come in at 9 o'clock, the station manager will be beginning her speech. So talk about an awkward moment if I'm even late. Because I mean, literally, they are right outside my door. There's about 80 chairs and a big screen TV just waiting for tomorrow's meeting. And I just dread the fact that if I happen to be a few minutes late, that everybody's going to turn around and look right at me. So, hey, Eddie gave you a 5.
Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie.
I need to go back there to Vegas and get him some more coffee.
You just need to come back to Vegas, or we need to come visit you. More importantly, we need to come visit you.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and the summer trip, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do something like that. We can do something like that. I think it'll be fun. I've never been to the San Francisco Bay Area besides that Maker Fair, and that was what? Drive in, drive out.
Yeah, I don't even know how you did that. You drove in, drove out, and still got your video up before midnight.
Yeah. That was a little hectic. Hey, Heather, you posted one of those, didn't you, for me when I was up there? Yeah, Heather actually did the post on one of them.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. I at the time, I was still quite confused, and I didn't understand that there's something called scheduled posting. And to this day, I still laugh. We could have gone on a week's long vacation, and I could have pre-recorded a whole week worth of videos and put them on schedule, and nobody would have been the wiser. But no, I got to be all honest and shit and do 365 days live. Excuse my French. I think that's the first time anybody's heard me swear in this community.
That's all right.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens. It happens. I've had a little caffeine.
A little.
Yeah, this was full when we started the stream.
I got about half a cup left.
It's got that nice Pepsi water taste now.
Yeah, Pepsi isn't exactly my favorite when it comes to diet, but
oh, dude,
it beats water.
All right.
It's cheaper.
It is. Especially at the drive-thru.
Boxes over there.
That what you're paying for when you go to the store is the fact that you're probably not going to recycle that plastic and it's going to destroy the environment. So they want you to pay a little extra for it.
Hey, you know what? I can care less about that turtle.
Paper straw.
I'm like, I need a straw because here in California they can't give you a straw anymore.
No, it's got to be paper.
Yeah, well, you can still get a straw, but you have to ask for it. If a waitress or a waiter is not allowed to walk up and say, "Here's your Coke and here's a straw,"
correct?
They can hand you say, "Here's your Coke," and then stand there and look at you, waiting for you to say, "May I please have a straw?" Now, excuse me, can I please get a straw? Oh, sure. There it is, but you have to ask for it. If you don't ask for it, then they give it to you and they get found out, it's a $2,000 fine.
What?
Yep. Because of the plastic straws.
Oh.
Because this is stinking California,
See, they need to charge less for homes and pay people more because of all the restrictions they expect you guys to live with.
Yeah.
That's the logical solution.
They pay you more now because the minimum wage is climbing up each year now. Is going to jump by $1 until what 2023 or something like that. 2023
in California.
Yeah, so eventually in 2023 it's going to be $15 minimum wage.
Yep.
The problem is when you go to McDonald's now, there's no such thing as a dollar menu.
Nope.
Now it's a $2 menu. And guess what's going to happen next year? It's going to be a $3 menu.
Exactly what it is.
A $4 Grand Slam is no longer $4. It's now $4.69.
Yep. And then it's going to go up to $4.99 next year, and it'll edge up 30 cents every 6 months until they reach the actual cost of the items.
Now a gallon of milk costs, I believe it's close to $4 a gallon here in California.
Yeah, it's about $2.65, $2.80 here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are paying a higher price for milk, yet you guys have the cows. We don't have any cows here because we live in the desert, and we're paying less for our milk.
And I'll bet you pay less for strawberries than what we pay.
Yeah, actually, because they come from Arizona, not from you guys. They do. Arizona and Mexico. There's nothing. Fruits and vegetables in Nevada don't come mostly from California. You guys charge too much for shipping. So we get it from Arizona and Mexico because they don't charge anything for shipping. Because I'm not even going to go there. But yeah, no, they charge a lot more in California for stuff that's actually made there because they charge less to ship it out of the state because they can't charge the same cost to the guys in the Midwest that they're charging you people in California.
Yeah. I go to Walmart here in Salinas and get green strawberries. They're green because they're not ripe yet because they picked them all the same time that they're going to send them everything back to, say, Colorado. Now you go to Colorado and they're all the perfect red strawberries, just perfect.
Big as your fist, too. Big as your fist.
Yeah. And it's like, we don't even have those at our stores. The only way I get those is if I go to the strawberry field
and pick them yourself.
The good thing is I know strawberry farmers, so there we go.
There you go. Well, you're near Oxnard, right?
What's that?
What's that big grow community, the south of San Francisco? What is that, Oxnard?
Salinas.
Salinas. Well, outside of Salinas, what's the next town over?
The next, Castroville, which is about 15, 20 miles from us, that's where they grow all the artichokes.
Yeah.
Salinas is known for lettuce, cauliflower, and strawberries.
Okay.
And then pretty much everything down south from here is all wine, wine grapes and all that.
Yeah.
Oxnard is the next growing community. Huron is also a growing community where they grow lettuce and all that. And then, of course, Yuma.
Right, Yuma. Yeah, and you guys pay more for the stuff that's literally grown across the street.
Right. I mean, right. You're not even joking. Right across the street is a strawberry field.
Yeah. See, what you need is you got to talk to your representative at GearBest and tell them you want to review some night vision goggles. And one of those really long extender claw finger thingies that's like 8 feet long with the big suction cups, and say you just want to review them, and then you can go across the street and reach over the fence and grab strawberries to your liking.
I need night vision goggles. I need a drone, and I need an Arduino with a little claw so I can take and have it.
Grab it and come back up. See, that's why I've been playing the claw game at the grocery store for years, because I'm going to get that down to a science where I can go into these fields and just grab all the fruit I want.
God.
Oh, hey. All right.
Okay, my friend, we'll go ahead and end it.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me onto the show tonight, Jimmy. It was good to have a little chat, and it's nice to see everybody hanging out in the chat room too.
Yeah, nice to talk to you again, my friend. We need to get together again soon.
Yes, you and Calvin and Beth need to either make an exodus down this way, or we're going to pack up the kids in the vehicles and head up your way.
Yeah, I think I would really like to go to CES next year.
We'll plan on it. It's a lot nicer here than it is summertime. You're talking January, so.
Yeah. I'd have to see if I could crash on your floor, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We're all good with that. Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably have a bigger house by then, so.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we're hoping to move out of here in the next 2 months, and because I need space. and I want to build a shop. I want to start doing more DIY projects. There's just no room to do it here. So, this apartment is like a small townhouse, and, the GMAX alone, it requires its own room. So
I know.
I'm not kidding. It requires its own room. I mean, this thing is just massive. Look at that thing.
It's huge.
It's just huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. All right, looks like everybody's tapping out of the chat too.
Yep,
So.
they're all tapping out. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll catch you next week.
All right, guys. See ya. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you.